want staff who are intelligent and fast. We also need people who are well informed, I said it, and well read. You must have a very broad mind. I remember I once went to an African country, and the tour guide there was taking me around some places, and he was connecting what he was taking me to things that were happening in Ghana, and I was really impressed. We need people who are communicative, who know how to communicate, people who know how to give intelligent feedback. And in the industry, we don't like people who read WhatsApp messages and don't respond on time. We don't like people who don't send emails on time. We don't like people who are sluggish. We want people who are quick on the take and fast. So I have a few, on this slide, I say, what do employers want? Employers want intelligence, not education. We want efficiency and not just your mere presence at the workplace. We want innovation and not repetition. We want solutions and not lamentations. And we want knowledge and not information. There's a difference between information and knowledge. Knowledge is information that you can apply and use. So if we want these people, how must you brand yourself? You must brand yourself in 3 ways. Have a strong profile on your internet page, build a profile page of yourself. These days, LinkedIn, you can go to LinkedIn and build your own profile. Make sure your pictures are sharp. Make sure the grammar on your page is good. And be wary of what you post on social media. Believe it, surprise, surprise, employers recruit people on social media, or at least they check you out on social media. So they will ask for your Facebook handle, they will ask for your name, they will search for you on Facebook, search for you on Instagram. Now, if all the pictures there are pictures that are not pleasant, your guess is as good as mine. And then the third thing you need to have for branding is that you must have a good attitude. And under good attitude, I had 4 constructs, but there are many of them. And for me, number 1 is communication, and I've alluded to it. Number 2 is hard work. Number 3, you must be reliable, you must be respectful, you must be willing to learn, you must be able to work in a team. These are all attributes of branding and good attitude. You must be humble, willing to learn new things, willingness to go the extra mile. I'm sure you've heard the proverb or the saying, the wise saying that goes like, go for the extra mile, because at the extra mile, there's no traffic. The world will recognize people who are in the extra mile zone. It doesn't recognize people in the traffic. If you are driving a car on a lonely road, you are the one who is noticed. But if you are in a traffic pool of 100 cars, 300 cars, nobody barely notices you. And so it's important that a good attitude is someone with a good attitude is the person who's willing to go the extra mile. I've spoken about communication again and again. So when you are preparing for an interview, you have to be on time. I'm happy that largely the participants for this session came on time. That's impressive. Read about the hiring entity. XXX Hotel is putting out, YYY Restaurant, BBB Beach Club is hiring waitresses, is hiring tour guides. You must read about them. What are their values? What is their mission? What is their vision? Read about them before you go for the interview. Be abreast with current affairs. Dress decently. Be courteous and respectful during the interview. Know that you are not working with your peers. Even if you are being interviewed by people younger than you, at that particular point in time, they have the power. You don't. So you have to be courteous and respectful. And avoid clothes. Now, this is one thing we see a lot when we sit on interview panels, and it's so wrong. And we mark down the candidates who do that. Avoid apparel, clothes, wristbands, headgear, which promotes your faith, political party, ethnicity, or sexual preference. You want to avoid those things. You'll see someone having a bangle with the name of their religion or the name of their church on it, or they have a t-shirt or something, or they have a cloth that has been imprinted on. Some things are imprinted on that. Those things are normally considered offensive to interviewers. And during the interview, Try and give short but comprehensive answers to questions. Don't talk too much and don't talk too little. I've also been asked to talk about some of the challenges of coastal tourism. And the first challenge, obviously, is the environmental degradation and climate change. And obviously, these ones are so obvious as we speak. They are in Egypt now, talking about climate change and how deleterious effect it has on society. And then we also, another challenge is the multiple use. When you are using the beach for coastal tourism, you are in conflicting use with others because the beach is used for fishing. It is used as a dump site. Unfortunately, in some parts of Africa, it is used for easing. People use it to ease themselves. And then it's the same also used for tourism. So you can see tourism contesting with 4 different conflicting uses. And that can be a challenge. And sometimes too, you realize that coastal tourism is seasonal, particularly in countries like Kenya, where there's a very strong tourism pool demand and a very clear-cut tourism season. If you work in a coastal tourism sector, there are times when you'll not get clients and your bosses can say, please go home and rest until we call you, and so on and so forth. So, Madam, in a nutshell, this is what I have on the conversation or the topics you asked me to talk about, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof, for such a brief yet insightful presentation. At this point, we would allow 20 minutes, if that is okay with you, to take some questions from the participants. Okay, thank you, sir. So we will now have our questions. You can use the hand emoji or use the chat feature. Hello, do you have questions for Prof? Okay, Prof, there is a question from Jacqueline in the chat. Jacqueline is asking that, should coastal tourism only be seasonal?
Yes and no. Like I said, it is seasonal when it's relating to those destinations that have a strong inbound presence. And when I talk of inbound, I'm talking of destinations that have foreign visitors, right? If you look at the mature destinations in Africa, like Kenya and so on and so forth, they have a clear-cut tourism season. And after tourism, nothing happens. But in Ghana, for example, we also have a very strong domestic front. So in Ghana, you will not see the seasonality too much. But I made that point relative to other destinations, other countries where you see the influx of tourism very strong. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jacqueline, I hope your question have been answered. Okay, there is another question here from Khadija. Khadija is asking if anyone wants to start a business in tourism, say to be a tour guide,
Yeah.
what expertise do they need?
Yeah, to be a tour guide, you need basic training in tour guiding. Normally, it depends from country to country. In Ghana, I know they are working on the law to license tour guides, and from the little I've seen, you must hold a degree. You must be a degree holder first, and then you have to also now be a professional. So there are professional associations that are alluded to, like the Tour Guides Association of Ghana. But for me, the most important thing is basic education, enough for you to express yourself and a good attitude. But if you need it for licensing, then you have to go through the methods that I've mentioned. In other countries, you must have a master's and you must speak 2 languages before you can be a tour guide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Khadija, I hope your question has been answered. So, Prof, I have a question for you. My question is, for a young person that wants to become an entrepreneur in coastal tourism, are you aware of some corporations or outfits that can help in terms of investment or seed capital?
I'm sorry, I lost you briefly. Can you repeat that?
Okay, I wanted to find out that for a young person that wants to enter into tourism, into coastal tourism, say entrepreneurship, I wanted to find out from you if you are aware of some corporations that provide, say, seed capital or invest in such startups.
To be honest with you, no, because the banks, and that's some of the things we are fighting at the policy level. As we speak to you, the banks see tourism and hospitality as a high risk factor level, high risk business, and they would rather lend money to a church to, or to do a business of importation than to lend money to hospitality or tourism, because their calculations is a 15-year ROI. It takes 15 years for you to get your returns. So they are thinking it's not the sector is really struggling in terms of getting finance. So all that you see are people's personal savings. Thank you.
Okay, so you said per their calculation you are in the industry and have a whole year, like a whole bunch of experience. Do you think the ROI can reduce?
It depends on the performance of the market. These guys have their own models and algorithms that they use to calculate when return on investment comes. But in a place where the ROI is about 5 years. Yeah. I hope you got the last part. Sorry. This network, please let me sign on another network, right?
Okay, all right.
Hello, do you hear me now?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Very well. Okay.
That's
So
okay.
the question again, please.
So I wanted to find out if you think the perception on the ROI could be changed.
Yes, we have to work at it, and we are currently working at it at the policy level. You know, we have to. This is an issue of government policy, and so government has to. We have to make. We've made submissions to government. You know, to try and talk to the banks to create. You know, to declare tourism as a priority area. When they declare tourism as a priority area like that, it makes it easier then for the banks to buy into government's vision, and then adjust their rates accordingly. Mind you, they are also not for the Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
so they also have things they have to. They would respond to a certain policy environment, and that has to come from government. Yeah.
Okay, so this is still a follow-up. I know you have accessibility to government, and so I wanted to find out, we have a whole ministry dedicated to tourism. Can they also have like a funding policy or like a venture capital investment set aside for young people that want to enter into tourism? I mean, the ministry itself. Hello, Prof. It seems Prof has a bit of internet glitch, so I think we should give him a bit of time to reconnect. But while we wait, if anyone has any question for him on his presentation or even a general question on coastal tourism, I think you can use the chat feature or the hand emoji. Jacqueline, I think I'm thinking this is a follow-up to your initial question. You want to find out if there's a way of enhancing it so that it wouldn't be shorter. I'm not sure if you're asking for the Ghana market or because he explained that the seasonal is in some other countries and not continental. So I don't know if your question is for the Ghana market, so if you could specify. But when he joins, I would ask him about that too.
Yes, please, for Ghana market.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did, Benjamin, because the presentation is over. So you met the Q&A session. But I think he's having challenges with his internet connectivity. So I'm just hoping he'll be able to rejoin us shortly. But I mean, before Prof joins us, today is the fourth day. I think we can have our own discussion. Then when he rejoins, then we would let him take over. So far, we've had 5, I think. We had Dr. Sego, and then we had Dr. Kasa, we had Ms. Shandov, and we have Prof today. So 4 sessions. Have you guys learned a lot? I mean, what will be your experiences so far? You can unmute, or you can just use the hand emoji and unmute so that you can share your experience with us while we wait for Prof. We are trying to contact him to find out if you'll be able to rejoin, or we should draw the curtain on that. So, but then in the interim, I want us to also have our own discussion. So far, the first week of ECOP, what are your views so far? Anyone can start, please. Please, let's make it interactive. We are all learning and discussing. So we shouldn't leave it to just a few people.
Well, thank you very much for moderating the program. I have to say I have learned a lot for the past few days while I am here with you. It was very interesting, and I have learned a lot from you, and I look forward for the coming sessions that they will be useful as this one is. And yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, and I have to say this was my first time I've ever participated such kind of training, and yes, it was an eye-opening, and it was very informative, insightful, and I've learned a lot. So thank you for. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Guinea Maritime Institute, the entire team of Guinea Maritime Institute, for taking the time and the effort of doing this. So I have learned a lot, and yes, and I look forward for the next days, inshallah. They will also be useful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed. We are glad you've been able to learn a lot from the facilitators so far. I'm fortunate enough to have facilitated the information that we are passing on to us. And I'm just hoping that at the end of the session next Friday, we would all be encouraged and charged to to do more with the knowledge we have acquired so far and make our own difference in our own communities, in our offices, and those of us that are interested in startups and non-for-profit organizations. I'm just hoping we'll be able to use this information that we have received, this knowledge that we have been given over this past few days to advance ourselves, to stand out, to be able to change the status quo. And it shouldn't just be information that has been passed on, you know. So anyone else could also share their own views and how they benefited from the program the first week.
Hello.
Hi. Hassan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hassan. How are you doing?
Fine. And I hope you too also.
Yes, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Great. Really, I want to thank for the Guinea Maritime Institute for arranging this fantastic training, which for me, I have learned a lot from the different expertise that you have collected. They were really very good expertise, which taught us a lot. And this is not my first workshop that I attended from you. There was one more that I attended before. I think it was about also blue economy, so it's a little bit different from this. And anyway, I want to say, and also the discussion were really very insightful, which also we have taken part. And at all, I want to say to you, thank you for arranging this wonderful platform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Hassan.
Okay, Khadija, so I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we can take one or two questions and then maybe we can wrap up. You seem to be having challenges with your internet connectivity, so.
Hello?
Prof, can you hear me?
I'm sorry. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I was saying that maybe we'll take a question or two, then we can wrap up. So because you seem to be having a bit of a challenge with your connectivity.
I'm here for you guys. So.
Okay, all right. So
for me, it's better now. For me, it's much better now. So we can take more questions. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's great to know. So a question came in. I think it's a follow-up to the person that wanted to find out if the coastal tourism is seasonal. Now, the follow-up question is, she would like to know if anything can be done about it. She would like to know if anything can be done about it, because if it's seasonal, that means income also becomes seasonal.
Yes, so that is very correct. But I think I remember putting it in a certain context, which is to say that the seasons have sharp seasons. But Ghana is not a country that has a sharp touristic season. Besides, in Ghana's slide, the beach line is also very actively used by domestic. You would notice what is happening on the coastline. The same in Tema and other places. So the issue of seasonality doesn't really apply to Ghana per se. you know. But
Mm.
assuming that it even did, you would have the situation where many people in tourism work 2 or 3 jobs. So they smoothen out their income during the lean season. So that's also another option. I hope I've answered the
Okay.
question.
Jacqueline, I hope you have been answered. Okay, I'll wait for her response. But then I had another question for you. In your delivery, you did give a
Yeah, yes,
projection of.
please. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. So Prof, I wanted to find out, you had indicated in your submission that tourism has West future. I mean, what
I want to add also that Ghana, the particularly can make your business, you know, very vibrant.
I don't know if I'm
By
the only one
delivering good tours
experiencing
for your
breakages.
clients who you sold packages to. I don't know if you get the beat. So you can start the necessary training processes. You get yourself for somebody as a tour guide who is government. Right? Over. I'm still online.
Yes, Prof. So
We are
experiencing serious
experiencing
challenges.
breakages.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Yeah. But am I clear now, please?
Yes, it's a bit better now.
Okay. So let's make progress. Any other questions, please?
Okay, so now I'm not quite sure which of the questions you have answered. So please, which one were you answering before we experienced the breakages? 'Cause hello, Prof.
Yes, yes, because I'm on a hilltop, so I'm sure I should hear clearly. But you are saying something.
Yes, so I also asked the question, so I wasn't too sure whether you heard it or not. I wanted to find out,
Can you repeat it?
yes, I wanted to find out the kind of future you see for tourism in Africa, given that projections determine that like opportunities for
Okay,
tourism
I
in
did
the
that
blue
question.
economy is high. Yeah, so like what steps should be taken to realize that? Because you gave I don't recall the actual figure, but it was quite a high amount that could be gained from tourism in your delivery. So I wanted to find out from your end, like the steps that you think could be advised or you could advise that should be taken in realizing that.
Yes, right for tourism. Yeah, leisure inclined. All right, we are getting more and more people who are leisure, who are demanding leisure, and therefore the best advice I can give is what I've given already, which is to say, position yourselves to take advantage of opportunities in the sector as an entrepreneur and not as an employee. I hope that
Okay.
answers. Did you get my answer? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have a hand up, Anthony. So Anthony is going to ask you his question directly, Prof.
Okay, hi Prof, thanks for the presentation. And I had an initial question, but your response to the last question also gave me an idea.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, so I'll go with that one first. So you asked the young people to position themselves as entrepreneurs, not as employees, and that is actually the absolute truth. But the question is, it's a bit vague for us young people. How? What are some of the ways you can give us to position ourselves as entrepreneurs? Thank you. That's the first question. I'll ask the second question after you respond to this one.
Yeah, Anthony, I thought I made it quite abundant. I made it quite abundantly clear. Thank you for your question, but I thought I made it quite abundantly clear that there are some businesses you can start without huge capital, and one of them is being a tour guide. All right. Others, you would have to invest very huge capital, like buying buying land to build up a facility, and that takes time. Or you may have to bring in investors. But something as quote and unquote small as are some lakhs, tour guiding. These are ways in which you think I have to make them available to Khadija. In the slides, I outlined the steps that you have to take if you have to be an entrepreneur in hospitality tourism. And some of them, because I've left the slides, I can't really refer to them. But when I make them available, I'm sure you should be able to read them and understand what I was trying to portray. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. I didn't start at the beginning, so that's why I missed that. Yeah. So my second question is regarding this aspect of seasonality of tourism, and I think you also gave a very good answer. The fact that we can diversify, and not only so that during the lean season we do other things that bring additional income, and that's also very true. And I want to point out that we really do not need to have a lean season in tourism in Africa, because we don't have lean seasons. Every season is a good season in Africa. For instance, over here in Europe, we're having a problem whereby where I am presently, in summer, you'll find hundreds of people walking the streets, tourists. And in winter, you'll hardly find a single person. So we do not have that kind of problem in Africa. So would it be beneficial to promote intra-African tourism in order to avoid this aspect of seasonality?
Yeah, that's a very good question also. Yes, that's one way of going about it. And I'm sure that the African Continental Free Trade area has now been looking at this. When we say lean in tourism terminology, we are talking in terms of relativity of numbers over time. And so in Ghana, for example, we do know that you get more tourist activity between May and August. All right. So that's what I refer to as the peak season, quote and unquote. But you are right to say that in Ghana and Africa, perhaps, I defer to you, it is not as pronounced, or in Switzerland, where during the lean season, you see empty boats, or in Spain, you see empty boats throughout on the Costa del Brava, that kind of thing. So yes, you are right, and promote African tourism is one of it, but more of internal domestic tourism, I think, is the way to go. And it is because of that you don't really see the leanness in the African space. Now, I was talking to the manager of the Ghana's foremost tourist attraction, the Kwaku National Park, Elsidor, just 2 weeks ago. And he tells me, I always thought the figures were 60% domestic tourists, 40% inbound or international. But he told me, no, Prof, now it is 81-19. So in fact, the tourism attractions in Ghana are more patronized by domestic people. Hello, Khadija. Hello.
Yeah, Prof, I think you're back online.
Okay, sorry about that. A call came through. Sorry about that. Yeah. But I hope you got much of the answer that I gave, please.
Yeah, exactly. We got it. And it's actually very comforting to know that right now the balance has shifted towards domestic tourism.
Yeah.
At least in the case of Ghana.
That is so, yeah.
Okay, Anthony, do you have any other question or?
Oh no, thanks.
That is it for you.
That's it for now.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Prof.
Okay, so Prof, I don't think there are any more questions for you at this point. So I think we can wrap up this session.
Thank you. Except to say that thank you for the audience. Yes, thank you for the audience. But I would want to say that these questions, these conversations can never be ended in a day. So I think you have email address. You have my permission to put it out. If anybody has a quick question they want to ask, I'll be more than happy to oblige them and engage by responding accordingly. So thank you for the opportunity once again. And I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We would also appreciate if you can share the slides with us.
And
yes, if you send the email, I'll do that.
And Khadija, please, can I just make a request to Prof? Okay. Yeah, Prof, we would also like to get back to you sometime in the near future for a similar talk or a talk designed in the direction of entrepreneurship in the tourism sector for early career ocean professionals. So if you don't mind, we'll get back to you with this request.
That would be fine. Provided it's not before the end of this year. My calendar is filled up, and I did this one just for Alberta. Honestly. Okay. Yes, my calendar is filled up to the end of the year. But if it's early next year, why not?
Okay, thank you very much. Well noted.
I'll be happy to do that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you, Khadija, and thank you everybody for making time to listen. And I'll dismiss myself now. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so Anthony, before you joined, we were giving a perspective on the first week of ECOP. So others were also sharing their perspective on how the courses have played out over the period and the benefits they stand to have gained over the days. So welcome. So I think now that you've joined, perhaps we can have an interactive session, if that is okay by you, or you would still want us to continue with our take on the first week.
I think we can continue with the interactive session and just, I mean, if there's any other thing we want to include in it, we can just do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So I'm going to post today's question, and then it looks like yesterday when we did the breakout session, most people didn't do the discussion. So
Personally, I think that the breakout session was quite good because it helped them to really get their ideas organized, and so they could communicate them more clearly. But if we're having a breakout session today, I don't think, are we?
we can if you want us to have. I've already posted the question to everyone in the chat, but we can have the breakout session.
So we can do that then. Yeah, we can do that, and then we have different speakers from. I mean, we can mix up the groups, and then we have different speakers from different from the ones who spoke yesterday to introduce their ideas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right then.
So are they? Have the groups been created already?
No, I'm just creating two rooms today so that they can start.
Okay, good. I think the connection is not the best today. Huh?
Yes, it's been quite challenging. Even with us this morning, it's been very difficult. So
Okay, so have they been? Are they working together in groups already? Hello, Khadija.
hi, Anthony.
Yeah. Are they working in groups already?
I have made the groups, but
Okay, if
they haven't joined. They haven't joined yet.
okay, if you're experiencing problems, maybe we can just continue, right? I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'm just hoping they are having the discussion. Some of them have joined, but
Okay, because right now we have just 6 participants here. Therefore, the rest have probably joined the groups.
I'm checking the groups, not.
I think Sunday says it's experiencing serious problems, network issues.
Yeah, it's been it's been crazy. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it's been. We had to make a lot of changes, even with our connectivity here, to be able to have the session. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anthony, please give me a minute. I'll be back shortly.
Okay.
Hi, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they are having their discussions now. So.
Okay, that's good then. So how many minutes would they be gone?
See, we can just. I gave them like 5 minutes, so
Okay.
maybe in about 2, at most 3 minutes, we can. I'll close it so that.
All right. Yeah.
So most of the Ghanaians couldn't join the session today. I'm thinking they're having internet connectivity.
Okay. So the discussion about the expectations and experience since the beginning of the course, how did it go?
I think in summary, a couple of them had indicated they've never had the opportunity to join session, and most of them appreciated over the past few days.
Sorry, I didn't get much of that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. So I was.
It's gone again. Sorry, Khadija, the connection is really bad.
Program, and it's been an eye-opener. I think from our facilitators so far, and so they were quite full for such events in there. Hello.
I can get you now.
Hi, Anthony.
Yeah, I can get you. Hey, I think you're clear now.
Been to some of our events in the past, and so they were grateful that this opportunity also has come up, especially the subsequent events, even after the training for the mentorship. the other
Yeah.
summits have been, and also, yeah, they were looking forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because the issue generally with most programs, even the ones we have over here, is that there's usually not so much follow up after the program, and
The
so
responses are positive and encouraging. So I'm going to close. They can come back so that we can.
yes, please.
Yeah, but the thing is, because these are like selected mentees, even after this training, we have the Blue Speaker Summit that is supposed to happen in the first quarter of 2023. And we are hoping, we haven't been able to secure funding for that yet, but we are hoping that we'll be able to have that here in Accra. So we'll bring the international participants as well. So
that's a good initiative.
yeah.
So as soon as the program is out, please you let me know so that I can also share within the ECOP group.
Sure. I thought I sent you the concept note. I haven't. Maybe I will send you the concept note for
Yes,
the whole
please do.
mentorship.
Yeah, I think I have
Okay.
50 yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in the mood.
Okay. I think they are back now.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, welcome. Today we had just 2 rooms, room 1 and room 2. So if you can share what you discussed with us, then Anthony will take us through the session.
Hi. Hi.
Hello, guys.
Do we start?
Yeah, Hassan, I think you can go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony, sorry. For us, our group, we try to discuss, and in general, we thought we have a little bit said about how can we just develop the income coming from the tourism in Africa. In general, we said first we have to prepare the environment that attracts to the tourists so as to come and take their time, which is very important. If we prepare the environment which applicable for the people to just come and take their resting time, we agree that it is a big opportunity. The second one that we thought was about to prepare the facilities that they may need. Anything about the facilities that the tourists who are coming to the tourism areas, we should be prepared. If you, whatever it becomes, whether it becomes the carriers, whether it becomes the hotels, whether it becomes the areas to go, whatever it becomes, we said we have to think about and prepare. And we also said the climate or the areas we should think about, or Africans should think about the areas which are very good, which has the very good, which have the very good environment or weather that they may lack for the tourism. And for the security wise, we also said it is also necessary for the places to be safer so as people to attract. And we also talked about the faiths and these things. The people should be free and do the things that they may lack to do it by just respecting also the communities there. And by adding all this, we think that we can attract the tourists and get their income that they have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hassan. And I think your contributions have been noted. And but I would like to ask you one question. regards to the situation in Somalia. How's the tourism sector there?
Thank you very much. In Somalia, when we look at the tourism, we are back. We are not well developed, and you know, the country has been. Maybe you are aware the country has been in trouble with civil war and these things. We have been in the recovery time for the decade or the last 2 decades, let me say, and the situation is becoming better and better. But you know, the tourist and these things, it's a little bit a developed scenario. So it exists, and we always see a lot of people coming. But these people, they are coming in the name of the other organizations. They are working those kind of organizations. The people who are working those organizations may go somewhere or some places and go and just take their time. But in the tourism sector in general in Somalia, it's not well developed. Though we have the longest mainland coastline in Africa, and we have the land which has a very good temperature, and I think you also know Somalia has the 2 rivers and the longest coastline in mainland coastline in Africa, except the island. But in general, we do not advantage because of the situation is that we have been in the last decades. But for the coming years, we believe that the situation will change and the tourism sector will develop, inshallah.
Yeah, that's right, Hassan.
I hope I have covered it.
Yeah, I think
sorry, let me add. Those some regions, they are a little bit trying to be, they are a little bit ahead to the other regions. But in general, in the tourism sector, we do not much focus it as we do. But for us, we believe in the coming future, something good will happen, inshallah. And I think also Africans are not much better than us, except a few. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Hassan. And I hope that you at least have a Ministry of Tourism. And I think that's always the starting point. But in addition to that, you need
yes,
foresight.
Yes, we do not, though we do not have a separate ministry, but the tourism and this sector undercomes to a ministry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. So the second group.
Please, Khadija, if you may proceed, because Khadija and I discussed something about African tourism generally, and then in the context of our country. So she'll be speaking, and I will add from my personal experience and things I have added. So Khadija, please, if you may proceed.
Okay, Mohammed. So from what Mohammed and I discussed, I've learned that Somalia doesn't really have a very booming tourism industry. But for us in Ghana, I was just wondering, or I was thinking that we have a Ministry of Tourism, and we have quite a vast line of coastal resources. So I was thinking that the Ministry of Tourism can somehow come up with an innovative idea. Like Anthony has always said, we don't make noise enough. I feel like if the Ministry of Tourism brings something up, like involving people who actually make videos on social media, that these videos can travel and more like advertise our coastal resources, such that people from all over the world can see these videos, and then they can in turn come and visit Ghana, and also in turn bring income to Ghana and the continent at large. So this was the way that I was thinking, that at least we are young people, and in Ghana we like having fun. So I feel like having young people on board, young people who create travel videos or create travel vlogs or something like that, come on board, make videos about these, like interesting videos about these places, like have powerful drone shots and all that, such that it will attract people from all over the world to visit our continent. So this was what, in summary, Mohammed and I talked about. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thank you, Khadija.
And yeah, it's a very good contribution. And Mohammed, I think you can you can go ahead and then we continue with Samuel and Tom.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony, for moderating the program. Thank you, Khadija, for your good delivery. And I think I have got not that much to share, but I will just follow up the question you have asked, Hassan. Here in Somalia, basically, we do have Ministry of Tourism, but that comes under the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism. We have a sector which really does something about the tourism, and I think it has been established back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, I was just telling Khadija that I think for the first time since the civil war broke out in Somalia in 1991, the first ever tourist people came back to Somalia back in 2017. I think they were from Malaysia or Singapore, I don't know exactly the country. They were around 20, 25. And we also do have a large number of Somalis who live outside the country. And these people are also coming during the summer, during the holidays, they're coming back. And so the reconstruction is going on. So just today is a Friday. So if you go to the beaches, you will see many people being in the beaches. Some are playing, some are sunbathing. Yes, for example, now I live in the capital city, Mogadishu. So from my personal experience, you will see that in the weekend, usually here, Thursday and Friday is the weekend. So if you go to the beach, these 2 days, it is overcrowded. You will not see even a single place to sit because families, friends, and everybody is coming because that's the only peak they have. And also there are the small local companies that are working on this. And they are going outside from Mogadishu. Like there is this place called Warshekh, which is, I think it's about some kilometers away from Mogadishu. So they will take you there. They will charge you some money. You have to pay the money. And yes, apart from where I live today, Mogadishu, there are some other regions which are much safer than Mogadishu, and they are also hosting. There are also some tourists who are coming. So, but that I do agree with Hassan and what Khadija said. And this tourism doesn't contribute to the GDP, to the local gross domestic of the country very well. I do understand, but with time, I think there is an improvement. I see an improvement. I see an improvement in Somalia, and I hope if things continue like this, maybe for the next 5 to 6 years, maybe Somalia will stand its own feet in tourism, and more people will come, inshallah. That's all I have got to say, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mohammed, and thank you especially for the hopeful message. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I wanted to add something to what Khadija and just said. I asked Prof. I think because of the connectivity challenges, he wasn't able to answer. Because here in Ghana, we have a whole industry for tourism, and then he was pushing the idea that for young people to establish themselves in coastal tourism, he was pushing entrepreneurship. But then there is also the capital involved, because it's a sector that really needs high capital. And so I was trying to find out from him that we have a whole ministry dedicated towards tourism. So can't they have collaborations with some of these corporations already?
Can you hold on for a while, please? Genevieve, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
I've muted her actually, so yeah, it's fine. Okay. So I wanted to find out from Prof, because I know he has access to people in government. So I wanted to find out from him if the ministry can first of all have collaborations with some of these corporations in the hospitality industry, and have innovative challenges, or like where some of these young people with visions in how to transform the tourism industry can compete and then be able to win seed capital to start their own coastal tourism businesses as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't really get his take on that matter because of the internet connectivity. Because personally, I believe that we have here in Ghana, we have a whole ministry for tourism. And I believe we can capitalize on that to increase our GDP. But then you don't see much happening. Most of the tourist activities happening are all private sector, and you don't really see much involvement from the ministry or the government itself. And so I'm just hoping that as the years go by, we would see such development from our leaders and from our ministries, because a lot of countries have capitalized on tourism. We all know Dubai is like a classical, like it's your quintessential tourist place, and their revenue over the period is because they've been able to take advantage and purposefully made the city like a tourist place. And because of this, they've been able to increase a lot of, generate a lot of revenue. As it stands now, I was reading an article on Dubai not too long ago, and they're anticipating, as it stands now, they have 20 billion visitors in a year, and they're anticipating to have 50 billion visitors by 2030. That is a lot of money that they are gaining through tourism. And here we are blessed with so many natural resources that we can really capitalize on, not just in Ghana, but across the continent. And so my point is, I'm just hoping our leaders will be able to invest in such sectors and help the young as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for that contribution. And I think it's a very good one, but I have a few concerns. The fact that if we only limit and we focus entirely on the financial contributions of tourism, we will be missing the sustainability mark. And personally, I think having 20 billion tourists in a year is a bit too much. And I don't think it's sustainable for the environment. And we should, while we are trying to develop, I think it's a blessing that we are still this backwards. I mean, I can call it backwards, but not backwards in the negative sense, that we haven't really overdeveloped and that we are still at the beginning. Now we can now start really planning. What direction do we want to take? Do we want to follow the 20, 50 million mark? Or do we want to limit it to like a few 100,000 people every year and still keep our environment intact? At the same time, do not expose ourselves to some negative security challenges and also some social issues that might arise as a result of so many people coming in. So I think we really need to strategize and think about that. But I think you're also right in the sense that we have whole ministries and departments that are supposed to be doing the work and that are not really doing much. So we have to, it is our responsibility now, really, for us to be able to get close to them and get them to start working. And if we sit, really, honestly, if we sit and think that things will change with the kinds of governments we have, I think we're making a big mistake. It will never happen. Unless maybe we have people like you and me in the government at one time, and then you'll see such a change, but is it even possible? That's a dream. So as it stands now, we have to start taking our responsibilities into our hands and start making the kind of changes we want. Start improving ourselves, start increasing our capacity, and start getting into entrepreneurship, like the Prof said. I think that's the best way out. And there's a very important point which Khadija mentioned, which I would like to take up before I call Benjamin to give his contribution, is that there's a lot of young people out there now who go around the world making videos. And these people have a big impact. The reason why companies spend millions, if not billions of dollars a year for publicity and advertisement is because these things work. So this is a kind of advertisement which the governments and even us ECOPs can take advantage of, get into some kind of collaboration with these people making these videos. One video on TikTok can reach millions of people. And that's a good example is with these dancing challenges. I've seen a few of people just dancing randomly because somebody brought up the challenge and it becomes contagious. If we can do this with tourism, I think we can reach a lot of people. And countries like Somalia that have beautiful landscapes and beautiful tourist attractions, people still have that negative connotation of war and other things, which is not really the case right now. So we have to try to push that out. And the only way we can push that out is to spread the message across the world. But at the same time, I still insist on the aspect of sustainability. We need to rethink. We want our countries and our coastlines to be flooded with people from around the world just because we want money? Or do we want a more controlled and sustainable tourism? All right, thank you. And I think, Benjamin, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much once again, Dr. Anthony. Just to add up, what let me say I've identified with tourism in let me say particular Ghana when it comes to the maritime spaces. We don't have an actual maritime spatial plan that draws out the vivid value of the returns we can gain from coastal tourism or tourism in general. It's like private companies see the demand, private corporations see the demand, then they invest into it. So then it's just like someone in to get money and go. But there is no like conscious national effort that, oh, let's say in the next, our people need to have leisure. Let's have this, let's have beach resorts, let's have aquariums, let's have water parks. That's to conscientize the people. And one thing also is most African institutions and workplaces don't are not centered into work and leisure balance. It's all about work, profit. So sometimes I've worked in some places where you find out that half a month or in the middle of the year, the organization organize, let's say, an excursion to a tourist site just for leisure among its workers. But some places, it's very minimum companies that do that. So I think if we have a very vivid plan when it comes to tourism, coastal tourism, whereby there is even appeal to organizations that it's in the best interest of organizations to have their workers, individuals in the community to engage in tourism, to have leisure. And also, this will even go a long way to promote outside tourists and maybe inter-Africa tourism. That's what I want to add to it.
Yeah, thank you, Benjamin. And that's also a very good point. Yeah. And work-leisure balance is actually what spurs tourism. For some of us, our parents, we used to even hope that we had extra 2 months in a year just to continue working because we need that extra income to be able to make the family, to keep the families afloat. So we do not really have the leisure to sit down somewhere for a month, not to talk of a week. And I think we have to way we can really boost tourism amongst Africans, I think, is also the fact that we really need to improve our standards of living. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Over here, if you do not take a holiday, they'll probably think there's something wrong with you, and people will be coming to ask you questions. No, you have to take a holiday. So it's become part of the system because they understand the importance of just having that time to kind of reboot. But how can you do that when you do not even have enough to feed your family and to feed yourself. So I think it's a very good point, and we have a lot of work still to do to get Africans to a certain level where they can have some reserves such that they can give some time to go visit other places. I think it's very important. And for me, encouraging intra-African tourism is the best way to go. And we would have to really push for that. And there's one thing I want to mention before I take the next contributor, is what I think Hassan mentioned about tourism in Somalia. Yeah, to that, I would simply say that we, the youth, I think it's in our, I think it's part of our responsibility. It's part of our responsibility to also constitute ourselves into groups that can go out and do stuff that will keep our environments clean. For instance, have beach cleaning programs, regular beach cleaning programs, without necessarily having to get the government to get involved. I think things like that get us recognized, and also they help the environment. And so we should also, while we are pointing fingers at what is not right, we should also remember our responsibilities and then take those responsibilities. And you should also remember that currently in the ECOP program, if you have a good proposal, you have a good idea for a project, you should remember, you should come up with it, we discuss it. You can come up with a good proposal that can be funded, and the project can be implemented. So there's a lot of things that can be done, and we should start doing those things. Yeah. So someone else has something to say. I think Genevieve, we're trying to say something. I'm not sure. Anyone else? Oh yeah, and there's this aspect of tourism, how to leverage our coastal resources to develop tourism sector in Africa. Yeah, we've discussed a lot of that already. Now, can we also kind of highlight some of the challenges which tourism can have on our environment and how we can go about to minimize those? Presently, in some of our environments, in some of our countries, have we already noticed some of the issues which tourism has, and how we can, do away with those challenges before they become unbearable and unmanageable?
Hello. I thank you very much, Doctor. I've identified one peculiar one when it comes to the coastal region, mostly along the beaches of Ghana. I did Maritime, and I did some courses in ecology, coastal ecology. And we identified some of the beaches. We returned to them, like to pick up samples, and we found that the population are decreasing tremendously due to, let me say, human presence at the beach, where you have, let's say, organisms like that burrow within the sandy beaches due to the compression of the sand, due to tourism and lots of people walking along the beach. You find out that those organisms have shifted away from their natural habitats, and they are migrating to different places, or some are even, let me say, depleting. That's one thing I've noticed.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. And you'll be shocked if I told you that we have a very thriving tourism sector here. We have this little island I'm living on right now. We have just my research institute, and the rest are just a primary school, a church, and what else? And shops and hotels. And tourism happens here like for only in summer, late spring, summer, therefore about 4 to 5 months effectively every year. And within that time, they have record numbers of people coming to this island. And most of those people are coming because it's a very clean environment and it's quite peaceful and it's small, very little, there's no traffic and none of the issues you experience in the urban centers. And the majority of the tourists come to just to watch birds, bird watchers. And, and you have about 3 to 4 species of birds that people come to see. And if you ask yourself, us in Africa, let's just limit ourselves to the marine environment. How many species of birds do you think we do have? How many species of marine animals and marine mammals we do have, and how much in terms of the tourist potential do we have compared to a place like this? And so now, once we have these questions in mind, and then we make this kind of comparisons, this is a small place. It's like I can walk from one end to the other in like less than 1 hour. I mean, on foot. So now, what is it about us that we cannot really build on the resources we have to develop our own tourist sectors in a way that would be provide us with the benefits in terms of jobs, in terms of economic development, in terms of finances, GDP. So what is it that is really blocking us from achieving this? Is it that we do not know, or it is that we just do not want to? We have everything there is. Anyone can add to.
Well, Doctor, thank you. Dr. Anthony, thank you. It's me again. I think it depends on the country. Well, for example, in my country, the problem that we are currently facing is insecurity. So I think it's the insecurity that are blocking us to develop our our tourism sector. And if we overcome this problem, if we solve this problem, maybe next we can step forward and think and come with ideas and solutions so that we can improve our tourism sector. And we have discussed it. And so I think that is the problem to me. And you have also asked as a question, you said tourism, everything like, not only tourism, everything has its pros and cons, and everything has its advantages and disadvantages. So some of the disadvantages of tourism is intense use of resource, physical damage to the natural resource and marine area, increased waste, pollution and emissions. So these are some of the negative side of tourism. And this is true because people are coming, they're not coming alone, they are coming with their stuff, with their things. And for example, if you visit the beach, you will see that a lot of plastics has been thrown to the beach, a lot of littering is there. So we also have to be prepared enough to take action against this, because it is, at the end of the day, it is our environment, and just like you said the other day, if we take care of our environment, our environment will take care of us. So I think we have to do enough, and we have to be prepared. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Mohammed. And yeah, to that, I'll also say that this is a great opportunity for young people like us to organize ourselves and start doing something about these issues. And the moment we start doing these things, for instance, you talk about littering on the beaches, we can start organizing ourselves, creating groups that will go to the beaches every weekend for beach cleaning. I remember when I was doing I was doing my master's in marine affairs in Xiamen University in China. We had this opinion that it's the government, it's the local government's job to clean the beach. And one time, one holiday, I organized a beach cleaning campaign with my classmates, and we decided to go to the closest beach to the university. And we collected so much garbage that the local newspaper had to come there and conduct some interviews with us and ask us why we were doing it, and ask us what kind of lessons we would want the local government to take from this and stuff like that. So sometimes we need to really get out and start doing stuff, and that could be the beginning of real solutions. Yeah, and
absolutely, absolutely, and I agree with you, because here in where I live today, the capital city of Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia, Mogadishu, youth-driven initiatives have started cleaning beach up voluntarily. And initially, when they started this, everybody was saying, "Are they crazy? Why are they doing this?" But as with time, people realize that they're doing very good, and they started to join the program, to participate. And imagine someone who's waking up early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, he's coming to the beach, cleaning and doing all of these things. And I think they've been doing this for the past 30 weeks. And I'm really amazed. These people are very consistent. And after that, government officials, business people, students, a lot of people started to participate this campaign, this beach up clean campaign. And we have this beach. If you Google it, you will see it's called Leather Beach. So they're doing it it's going on very well so far. And I think this action will spread the rest of the country, and people sooner or later they will realize that it is them. It is up to them to organize themselves and preserve the environment, because there is no one who's coming after that and who's doing it. So yes, it's going on. It's going on, and I've realized this one.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Mohammed. And I would really like to get connected with such groups, if possible, and we can really organize some programs and make it mainstream, so that it's not only known in Somalia, but it becomes known elsewhere and even abroad. Okay, so we can incorporate such a program into our ECOP program, and then we publicize it. And sometimes you can even move to other beaches. You can write a concept note. You can get funding to do. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. So you guys just try to organize yourselves, and it's how organized we are and working in the same direction, we can really achieve as much as we would like to achieve. Okay, and this is just one aspect. Just one aspect, and this has to do with maintaining our environments in clean and healthy states. But we still have to deal with the aspect of the communities really gaining and earning from having this resource, this blue resource, which is the ocean. And that gives us the opportunity to have a sector such as tourism. All right, so we'll take Hassan again. Oh, sorry. Hassan.
Hi, Anthony.
Yeah.
We need to be wrapping up in 5
minutes, yes.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Then, yeah, great. Hassan, let's go briefly.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Anthony. I just want to look at this thing of cleaning and another angle. For me, I always see this kind of people that he has talked to my friend Mohammed in Somalia. I've seen companies that the people trying to just go to the beaches and clean. It's good. But for me, I always think, can we think about to just prevent people to put the garbage or dump the garbage the place that they do? And there is an expression saying preventing is better than curing. To applicate this expression to this scenario, can we think about to stop for the people to put the garbage on the beaches or dump the wastes to the beach? To the beach. I think this is strategy is better than this. Though the solution will be cleaning up, but you clean today, for example, but tomorrow the people will put the same thing at the same place. So the strategy that can just finish the dumping the waste is to protect for the people to just bring the garbage on the beaches. And I always like this topic for dumping waste, to talk this dumping waste and this thing, and also IUU. These two topics I always talk in the country, in here. I always talk. I always say the things that is necessary. For example, I think months ago, I've seen some people posting the cleaning up work or tasks that they do on the Twitter. For me, I retweeted by saying, can we think about to stop for the people to dump the waste or put the garbage on the beaches? Because we cannot, the people today you can clean, tomorrow you can clean, but after days you cannot continue the cleaning. So the strategy of stopping people to put the garbage is better than for my idea.
Yeah, Dr. Anthony, if you may please give me a few minutes, because I know that you are going to wrap up in 5 minutes. I think here in Somalia, the problem is people are very good at in cleaning in their private places. For example, you will see someone who's walking up early in the morning and cleaning in front of his house. They're very good at that. But the problem we are here is facing is, and it's very hard to see someone who's taken or participate in public cleaning. You will not see so many people. You will find very few of them who are willing to come forward and do the public cleaning, just like the beaches and streets. So this is a problem that I have noted in Somalia.
I think, Mohammed, that's an African problem. It's not a Somalia problem. And yeah, you're perfectly right. And Hassan, you're also so right. We have to accompany efforts like beach cleaning with literacy, ocean literacy, just educating people, educating children from the very basic education and even their parents through campaigns, literacy campaigns, going out, doing the beach cleaning, and also preaching the message why we shouldn't treat our environments that way. I think that would, I think we need both, right? Yeah, and so that is, you guys are very right. And so we take Benjamin and wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. I think you've already said what I want to say. When it comes to Ghana classically, it's a very few number that are assisted with the environmental, like let me see, environmentally sound or assisted with the environment. So let me see, back in undergrad, it was my class were about only 68 in marine science, and about 90% of us were given the course. So you find out that most of the population are into humanities and engineering, not into environmental science. So they don't have that conscious, you protect the environment protects you scenario. So I think more advocacy and literacy in that space will create the awareness that, hey, you do this, you need to get involved. I think that's the go-to process for us in Africa.
Yeah, very good. So right now, I think the challenge which I think I should give all of you is, how do you come up with a good concept note that incorporates these two aspects, literacy and response to a problem? For instance, debris or solid waste, in our coastal and marine space, and how to create that awareness and develop these concept notes. Sit down and think, what are the problems? What are some of the solutions, and what can we do about them? Once you have this written down, the time will come when you can submit this and get funding to carry out this kind of small projects. So I think you should take this seriously and think about it. And I think by the end of this course, if some of you or most of you join us in our ECOP group, I think you would then have the opportunity to submit your concept notes, and we can see how to proceed from there. Okay, so this is an opportunity and a challenge for you all. There are things that we can do, and we shouldn't sit and think that, oh, we need these resources, we need those resources. Develop your solution first. It starts in the mind, and then you have to document it. And then that's it. The next step, we'll see where the resources can come to implement it. Okay, so I would encourage all of you to start thinking in that direction, so that in addition to the Blue Mentorship Program, you will also be helping yourselves to start developing projects, start thinking as a project manager, as a project developer, and start implementing some of the challenges, start contributing to solving some of those challenges which you are so passionate about. All right. And so to close, I want to mention one more thing, that we can, in our different small ways, contribute to boosting tourism in Africa. And one of the ways we can do this could be for us over here to identify countries that are currently struggling to have a thriving tourism sector, and organize conferences in those countries. I think this would be one of those ways in which we can help to boost tourism. For instance, right now we have Ghana, we have Kenya, and most of the conferences that are organized, you would find that they're mostly organized in these countries: Ghana, Kenya, South Africa. I think we should start moving a bit, diversifying, and moving to countries like Somalia and other countries which are not the most favored locations for tourists. And that would also raise awareness. Once we have the cameras pointing at us in Somalia, having a big conference, that will be a part of the solution. And now try to see how we can push this forward as well. And like you guys mentioned, there's also some groundwork that has to be done. People have to be sure that when they travel to some places, they'll be safe. People have to be sure that when they travel to some places, they would have the necessary comfort which they would like to have. And so all of this put together, and with your interest and enthusiasm and your desire to see change, I think we can really succeed in our mission as young people who want to see a change in Africa. Right, so I think that's where I end for today. And maybe Belle, or yeah.
Hi, yes, I'm here. Yeah, so I think we can call it a day. It's been a great week in my opinion. I think we've been exposed to a whole different areas, different sectors. We looked at shipping, we've looked at coastal tourism, we've looked at fishing as well, and then Dr. Sego also took us through understanding blue economy itself. And I think Ms. Shandov also took us through knowing some of the emerging sectors and how we can position ourselves for some of those sectors. Overall, I think it's been a fruitful week. And then we will continue on Monday at 1100 hours GMT. So next week we'll be focusing on entrepreneurship. So we will be taking courses in like the fundamentals of how to start your own blue career, and how to write proposals, business development, know about collaborations and corporate innovations and areas like that, corporate communication and areas like that. So this week was for building our careers, as in early career wishing professionals. Then the subsequent week is going to be about entrepreneurship, so that those of us that are interested in startups can also explore that avenue. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing everyone starting Monday at 1100 hours GMT. I think now people have gotten the time. So today I didn't really have issues with time zones. So I hope to see you all and have a great weekend, and I'll see everyone on Monday.
All right, thank you. See you on Monday.
Thank you, Belinda. See you all on Monday.
All right, thank you guys.